Good morning, everyone. Did you have a good sleep last night? Okay, so today let me introduce the Passwordless X1280 and Passwordless Alliance together. Okay, so let me introduce myself first. So I run the two non-profit organizations. The one was the Protect Medical Data Initiative, and the other one is the Passwordless Alliance. Yes, the Passwordless Alliance was settled in the Switzerland, and then it was set up with the former ITOT director, Dr. Lee. So that's that was the beginning how we started with the Passwordless Alliance. I'm the technical role, the president in the Passwordless Alliance as well. Okay, so let me quick start today's agenda. Let me quickly introduce today's agenda. So I'm gonna take the part 1 and part 2, but from the part 4, the Brian and Q will lead your hands-on education today. So but before I go to the part 2, I'm gonna show the secret sauce. How does it possible? So if you see that you're gonna laugh a lot. Last day you understood about we can put more safeguard method in the PI system. You already experienced that. Like you saw that, I'm gonna introduce the new authentication technology to you. If you saw that, probably basically, if you see that everyone could think like this manner, but nobody. After you see that, you realize that. But the people you didn't see it, you cannot hard to imagine it. But I believe so. If you see that, you're gonna glad a lot and laugh a lot. Okay, so let me quickly start with the X1280 ITU standard. So how many passwords do you manage and remember and reset the password over a year?
We always forget the password.
So because of our lack of memory, so we just most of people use just 1 or 2 passwords. After that, adding the special character and number. That's how the human being use the password. To cover those kind of vulnerability, so in past, it recommend to use the 2FA or MFA, like the OTP or one-time pass, the OTP and mobile authenticator or the biometric authentication or even the QR code authentication. That's what are the recommended for us. As a user, we have to show our authenticity to the system. So once it is matched, the system let us into the system. So, but as a user, we have to show our legitimacy to the system. That's the basic. But the problem is our authentication code can be stolen. As I explained yesterday, while we are input the credential, if someone is middle, in case they can steal my input at any input value, right? So in our system, there are so many malware are running. So whatever we typed, whatever we choose, it can be phished and it can be stolen. That's how we use our password on our PCs. So as I mentioned, that the phishing attack, accounting taking over attack, that is number 1, the cyber attack vector. So because of that, not only for that, as a user, if our passwords are stolen, as a user, we have to take a responsibility. The funny thing is the online system doesn't have any responsibility for that. As we know that it's not the user fault. Even the server, it can be compromised, and then even our PC can be compromised. While all the systems are already compromised, in that situation, if as a user, if we input any authentication code, why does that the phishing result should be the responsibility of that kind of attack? What should be goes to the user? It's not the human error. It's a system error, right? So what we have to solve is we need to protect our account even if PCs and servers are already completely compromised. So we have to solve that. So to answer that question, so some of experts we developed the X1280. So if you see that I believe you didn't believe it. So, okay, so look at this video clip. If any system applied X1280, it will work like this. Before I play the video clip, please keep the principle of this technology in your mind. The principle is instead of giving the burden to the user, it simply shift the burden of authentication from the user to the service provider or online system. And that's the key. So far, as a user, we have to show we have to take a responsibility, show our authentication, authenticity to the system. But the principle of the X1280 is the online system take a responsibility for that. Okay, let me play the video clip. If X12 is applied on, so when the user type the ID only, online system presents automatic code to the user, and then at that time, the user smartphone generate the code. If two codes is matched, by the approval, click the approval button, and then user get into the system. Whenever I played this video clip, the first question I got is that's exactly same like a typical OTP, right? It looks very similar, but typical OTP require user input the 60-digit code from the user to the system. But the one you saw is the online system present a 60-digit code to the user, and the user approve it. Previous method was the user have to input the code, but the one you saw is this code is output from the system, and then as a user we are approve it. The direction is totally opposite. So this manner can be work on the web and mobile app and Windows, Linux, any cloud online service. Yeah, where the user password are required. So in the bank in Korea, number 1 and number 2 largest bank in Korea, when the staff members get into the bank without inputting their password over Windows, they let them they make their password show the automatic password and then approve that password on their smartphone with their biometrics. As you see that, when the user approve it, at the moment it verifies the user biometric on the smartphone. So because of that, even though someone steals your phone, they cannot approve that login. So in our company, we are already using the Gmail where the user authentication we log in with X1280. And then even the Linux, even the Mac OS, just type the ID only. So we make even the Mac present the code to the user, and the user, if the user approve it on your smartphone, as you can see that user can get into the Mac OS session. And then not only for that, even the Linux. By typing the ID only in the CLI command line, we present to the Linux system present the code to the user. So as you know that when we get to the Linux system, 9 of 10, we just input the user password, and also we just input the cert file to open the Linux session, cert key file. But as you know that your cert key file is already stolen by the hacker, and then your inputting value is already gone to the hacker. So all our servers are already widely open to the hackers. That's where we are living with our servers. So, but by applying the X1280, as you can see that by typing the ID only, we hand over the user responsibility to the system, and then system present code to the user by approving. The user do not remember and manage it, do not need to remember and update and input the password. It's very easy to use and convenient than any other system. So it's very easy to implement it on your legacy system. Probably someone in here already implemented on the OTP server. That's exactly like that. Just adding the authentication server behind your application server and provide the mobile app, done. Just adding the server software only. This is diagram come from the ITUT standard, ITUT X1280 standard paper, and then it looks complicated, but that diagram is for how to register the user, but the registering process is very easy. After user authentication, it shows the QR code. After scanning the QR code, done. What user does after the verify the user, just scan the QR code like the registering the typical OTP, like the typical OTP registration is exactly the same. The behind the flow is a little bit complicated, but the user side just showing the after verify the user authenticity, and then just scan the QR code. That's all. After that, one user is if the user enter their ID, it goes to your application server, and then it reaches to the verifier. Verifier is the authentication server, and at that time, authentication server generates the server authentication information and shown to the user screen, and at that time, it's sending the offset to the smartphone, and the smartphone by itself will generate the code. It's not sending the 6-digit code. It's just sending the trigger to generate the code on here. So if the two information is matched, that means your connecting server is authentic. And then after that, if the user confirm that code on their smartphone after user after you verify the user biometrics, and then at the moment, it generates the user authentication code on the smartphone with the PKI key. If the PKI key is after the PKI assigned, it goes back to the user authentication information to the system, and the user authentication is verified. It send the signal to let the user in to your application server, and then you can get into the system. As you can see that we check 2 times after verify the user by the user, after verify the service provider by the user, and then online system also verify the user's authenticity. So the usability is extremely simple, but the behind the process is a little bit tricky. Yeah, that's the X1280. It's compared to the typical authentication technology. It has 5 benefits. First one is it's not farmable, it's not phishable, it's not man-in-the-middle attack couple. So the reason is, typical cyber attack relying on user input. Without stealing the user input, they cannot initiate the they cannot initiate the attacks. But as you can see that this is the output. Even though they are someone's on the middle, that output information does not have any meaning. But at the moment, the user can verify where the user is connected with. After they verify the service provider, when they confirm that, at the moment, user authentication code signed by PKI goes back to the server, and then once the user approved by the server again, and then let the system provide the service to the user. So because of that, it is secure double than the typical authentication technology, because it's secure because there is no chance to steal the user authentication code. Because even though they are in the middle on your PC or on your smartphone, on your server, the authentication value does not input to your compromised PC and servers. And second thing is this is second benefit, as this is the output. This is out-of-band mutual authentication. The out-of-band mutual authentication, that is the okay. So probably someone already using the push notification-based authentication technology. So after the typical push notification-based authentication technology, it's a work like that. If the system got the user ID, sending the push notification, but the push notification, even though after user confirm that, even though their biometric authentication is runs on, it just verify the user only. So even though you are adding the OTP or other method on your smartphone, it's just checking the user only. But the problem is that if you, without knowing where you are connected with, after you connected, you wanted to connect to the real service provider, but by mistake or by attack, by compromise by your PC, your browser could connect to the attackers at the moment. If you ask to sending the, if you ask to ask you log into the system, at that moment, attackers could resend your ID, and then at the moment, they can sending the push notification to your smartphone. If you, at the moment, if you approve that, your approval goes, your approval for the hacker's login, not your connection. That's how the user-only authentication can be compromised by the hackers. So that's exactly the same like that. Even though you are using the mobile authentication with your biometrics, if that authentication just check the user only, that will bring the man-in-the-middle attack. So that's exactly same like the signing the signature without checking the document contents. But compared to the typical the push notification-based user authentication, as you can see that X1280 shown their authenticity to the user, and then with that code, after verify the two code, user can assure that am I connected with the right service provider. After verify the service provider, when they approve it, they can sending their user authentication value behind the scene. So so far, the user authentication and service authentication was divided. Probably as a cybersecurity manager, you already know that what the server authentication, SSL server certificate is. So according to the X.509, SSL server certificate is designed for showing the server authenticity to the user. But as you know that nobody check about the padlock on your browser. So user have to must check the padlock, but after connected to the website, we bluntly input our credential information to the system. Human beings are designed to do a couple of things at once. We just do one by one. So because of that, all the typical user authentication technologies designed under the one assumption, users are connected with the authenticated service provider. If that assumption was broken, all the one-side user authentication is meaningless. Whether you're checking 2 or 3 or 4 times, if the opposite side are fake, all your strong authentication is meaningless. So the beauty of the X1280 is it is mutual authentication. After verify the service provider and then sending the user authentication code signed by PKI. Yeah, that's the diagram for the mutual authentication. And then compared to probably someone in here already heard about the FIDO or passkey or biometric authentication, right? The typical biometric authentication is a little expensive. The reason is the FIDO and passkey, I believe on your phone there are already FIDO running, right? Every smartphone already have a biometric sensor on your smartphone, right? And then a little expensive laptop have a built-in biometric sensor, but not mine. But the desktop at office does not have a biometric sensor in case passkey or FIDO require by the biometric sensor as plugged as a USB port. Typical FIDO or the typical passkey designed under all the user devices have their own biometric sensor. But if they doesn't, you have to adding the one more. You have to buy the biometric sensors. But even in Korea, we could not cover the biometric sensor all the user devices. So because of that, some devices have a biometric sensor, or some does not have. In case we have to use a user password, we cannot fully switch it to the passwordless. But as you can see that X1280 is also relying on the biometric sensor on the smartphone, and then it is out-of-band biometric technology. So because of that, without adding the extra biometric sensor on all of your devices, we can assure that where our biometric is goes to, because it gives a chance where our biometric is used for by comparing the two codes. Yeah, so we are not ignore the typical the biometric authentication flow. We're just adding the one more layer on top of typical structure by adding we're just adding the online service authentication on top of that. So one bank in Korea used this and deployed for 20,000 employees. At the moment, they do not spending for buying the biometric sensor, but the other bank they buy the 20,000 the vein sensor. So compared to the total cost, yes, it's 2 times more expensive than the typical way is 2 times more expensive than X1280. So this is one of the user case. At the bank, so some banks wanted to provide the biometric authentication on their banks, but as you can see that if X1280 is applied on, as you can see that ATM on the screen of ATM, it presents a code, and then user can authenticate with their smartphone, with their biometrics on their smartphone, and then if they approve it, even the ATM can work without installing the biometric sensor on the ATM. And fourth is so as you know that probably some countries already adopted VDI to enhance your infrastructure, right? So we assume that our PC are fully compromised. So because of that, to using the pure VDI, the virtual desktop infrastructure, we can assure that our we try to assure that our PCs we try to assure that our running environment are safe, and then through the VDI we wanted to control the server on the cloud. But at the moment, we cannot adding the biometric sensor on the VDI because there is no USB port, because that is the virtual Windows. It's not the physical. So because of that, there is no USB port. So by adding the X1280, even the PC on the cloud, we can use we can adding the X1280. So my main is we can use the biometric sensor on our smartphone. And then I already showed it to you how we can secure the Linux servers by adding the X1280. So again, so all your server manager's credential is already stolen, even though they are using the super secure X.519 based cert file. It is already stolen because that is saved on because that cert file is a file, and it is saved on your normal hard disk in case all your system is already widely open to the hackers. Yeah. So lastly, X1280 support even supports AI. So we all using the ChatGPT, right? It's an AI-based technology. If the AI is so valuable, while we are typing the credential to the AI web interface, by applying the X1280, we can assure that that AI service is genuine and real service, real AI, right? And then not only for that, we are living under the AI agent era. As you know that the AI agent, they work on behalf of the user. If we order to them, on behalf of us, they access to so many websites, and then they do multitasks, and then if they make a result, they return the result to us. That's how AI agent works. But to order them, we have to hand over our key to the AI agent. But if we keep hand over our our key to the AI agent, sometimes it could be feel afraid because can we really trust AI with our password? And is it? My main is sometimes we are afraid of if the AI by mistake they can leak our password. Maybe not, or without our involvement in the future, if AI by itself do whatever they want with my keys. So people in the ITU expert we try to do leverage the AI agent without hand over our sovereignty. Yeah, as a user, while we keep our sovereignty, we wanted to use the AI agent. So in that purpose, the X1280 is very good. As you saw that when you log on to the AI agent, if the AI agent equipped with the X1280, we can verify who they are. And then if up to the resource server apply the X1280, without handover the key to them, we can use it. So look at this video clip. So I asked the ChatGPT go to their website and then log in with passwordless, and then get the check out my remains. When I order to that on the prompt, as you can see that AI agent. Let me play the video clip. I ask login with passwordless to the AI agent. After input my prompt, as you can see that AI agent bring the code to me, and then with my approval on my smartphone, the remain process is done automatically. So I didn't hand over my key. While I'm holding my sovereignty on that system, I use the AI agent. That's how the X1280 can be how X1280 can be the super utility in the AI era. So, in summary, for the X1280 that's the most secure because it is mutual authentication, so it enables the 2 times of security, and then it is convenient because it does not need to input and memorize your password, and then it's economical because it doesn't ask you to buy the biometric sensor on all your devices, and it covers not from the PC, mobile, IoT, cloud, and AI. So it covers every area. And so the principle is, as a user, as a human being, we do not want to take a responsibility. As much as I can, we want to hand over as much as I can. We want it to, the burden, we want to give our burden to the system. So by doing this principle, we cover every area. That's the key concept of X1280. Okay, so that is after it became the Korean standard. They became the ITOT standard, 2 or 3 years ago. Already the #1 Korean bank and #1 commercial bank and stock trading companies, national government agencies, city government, and a railroad company, those companies adapted because even the director or even the high position rank officers, they cannot check each server's password are really updated. No one checked that. So, but problem is if the hacking instance happen, all the remaining result is the password was not changed at all. The problem is that by applying the opposite way, while we losing our burden for managing our system, and then funny thing is, one more interesting point is that whenever the user get into the Linux or Windows or with automatic password, the original user password are automatically updated. So because of that, the user do not need to remember and managing the password. Yeah, so because of that, by applying this technology, we cover those kind of system in Korea. Okay, so that's the first chapter. Before I go further, let me ask you, I slightly wonder, some of you in here, I think you have a system engineer background, right? And then some of them, I heard that yesterday the lady came from Armenia, have an experience for the ID matter, and then all other guys, the gentlemen have a background for only for the cybersecurity or the authentication or the ID matters. Is there anyone? Both of you. Okay, understood. Okay, so tomorrow afternoon, I'm gonna explain how you can leverage your national ID together with the X1280. So it's another topic. But today, let me just focus on the X1280. So tomorrow, three of you will like it by linkage with your national ID together with the X1280. Okay, so before I go to the next agenda, so let me show how it works behind the scene. So could you appendix 1? Let me show technically how it works to you. Let me explain to you. Yeah. So what I showed to you, that is while we deploy this system to the bank and government infrastructure, as you know that in our company, some Windows PC are linked with the AD, joined with the AD, or some government does not use AD, depends on their budget or the security policy, or some work environments sometimes using the wireless network or with radios or pre-shared key, or some company, some government uses the email account to connected with the somewhere or the other IDP, or some work portal like any portal or any kind of the business applications connected with the OS2 like that. Or the cloud services like the outside cloud service also connected with, also using the OTP or the X.519 based cert file, or some of your company system engineer just using this private cert key file for this system login. So our work environment are very various. So because of that, it's harder to managing the credential at once. So not only for that, each system have their own authentication protocol, authentication standard. It's fully separated. So when you saw that was just one authentication, new way of authentication, the manner. For implemented it, we labeling all this the different kind of authentication protocol as a one, and on top of that, we make all different kind of ID as a unified account, and then on top of that, we put the access privilege policy, and then we adding the audit policy at the bottom. And then we adding the X1280 as another kind of authentication method. That's how the X1280 work from the PC or IoT or cloud or all kind of a system. So in Korea, so the X1280 just mentioned about just talking about the authentication method, like the mobile app and authentication server, but to implement it in various of kind of environment, you need the middleman. It's not a standard. Standard is just for the authentication, but the access manager, that is the cover this area. So by labeling the all kind of different authentication protocol as a one, and then it cover those kind of company or government policy. So that's the access manager server does. So all your typical resources should be binded to, and then with one unified ID, and then automatic password technology, X1280, so we make this user can get into the system. So So with this, you can link with all typical Linux service by input the Samuel key value in here. And then if you are already using the typical single sign-on service, just replacing the X1280, not only for the user password or one-way user OTP, by adding the X1280, you can enhance your single sign-on system. And then, as I told you, whenever user get into the Windows and Linux, so the inside of OS password are dynamically changed. So by doing so, we don't need to remember and update the password. And then not only for that, when we use the Wi-Fi infrastructure, like here, so we have to show the Wi-Fi password to all the participant, right? But instead of doing that, but the X1280 behind the scene, beside the X1280, there is one more authentication technology. It's renamed the X1280 we branded as an auto password, but the auto password means the system presents automatic password to the user and the user approve it. But in the case of there is no chance to change the UI in case we apply the self password. What is the self password mean is if the user type the ID and any ID, what the user typed information will be comes on the user smartphone. If the user confirms that, the Wi-Fi network is connected to the user. The self-password is good when we cannot change the UI at all. In case it's good. So in the case of the Wi-Fi network, if your company doesn't have a captive portal, in case just by applying the self-password, if you approve it with your biometrics, you can make your PC connected to the Wi-Fi network. So in that case, you do not need to share the pre-shared key value to the participant. So yeah, that's what you saw. And then, as the gentleman asked me, so besides the auto password, there are so many alternative authentication methods provided together. It can be self-password, it's a temporary password, it's a FIDO, fingerprint, card OTP, and mobile OTP, and offline OTP. Because when in the case of when we're losing the smartphone, we sometimes by mistake we can drop our smartphone at home. So in case we have to work at the office. So there are so many alternative methods. And then in the case of when we hurt, instead of using the fingerprint, we can make the user using the PIN code at our phone. And then one more good thing is after the Windows login, if the time period is within 60 seconds, within 60 seconds, if I wanted to get on the web service in the company portal, so under the 60 seconds, it make the user login. It make the user can open the web portal without user authentication. That means, but after the 60 seconds, if that worker goes to the system, the auto password comes up again. So my mean is within the 60 seconds, it provides a Windows-based single sign-on. That means that guy just authenticated 60 seconds before within the Windows. With that, the credential, we make the user goes to any applications. But after the 60 seconds, as you can see, that user have to re-authenticate with your smartphone. Yeah, there are so many reference architecture to make your complicated the system simple by applying the X1280 to your legacy single sign-on and web applications like that. And then by applying the NAC or web or the POPC or the web, the other applications, you can make it, you can get rid of all kind of your password on the various workplace. And then the other thing is that this company is was very unique because the only two system engineers have to cover the 400 or 500 Linux server and Windows servers. So two managing, but nobody knows how often they change their password. Not only for that, to managing the hundreds of servers by two managers, they have to hire the subcontractors. But the to maintain the to let them work, we have to, the managers hand over the key file and OTP, the dongle to them. But nobody knows what they are doing. So to control more tightly for the subcontractors, they adapt the X1280 to all the Linux servers. Yeah, that's as you can see that the changing the typical vulnerable user and desegmented the user ID over all various systems as a one. That process is very little complex because we have to unify all the accounts as a one, and then we have to map the X1280 on top of that. It's a little tricky. So, but it's meaningful. If you want to get rid of user burden with the super security, it's very meaningful. Okay, so could you open the second appendix? 네, 두 번째 잠깐. In Korea, as you do, so we run the zero trust pilot a lot. So this is output that we made from the #1 banks in Korea. So we do the zero trust pilot. Most of them, I believe you are the super expert for the zero trust, right? Zero trust. The assumption is the never trust anything inside of your, even though that system is inside of your network. We have to assume that all the vulnerabilities, all the malware and all the attackers are still beside you, or it should be running on, probably it could be running on your PC as well. So that's the principle of zero trust, right? So where the X1280 works is we cover the non-trusted zone, this area. So by applying that, we cover by applying the X1280 on the identifier. This is the diagram from the zero trust. Zero trust is composed of 5 pillars. So by adapting the X1280 for the identifier, we cover the device doesn't need to input the user credential in the very compromised environment. And then we cover the network by applying this, by applying the X1280 based app. And we cover all kind of web applications from the Gmail or Lucidchart or Figma or any kind of cloud applications. And we cover the data. So data, that's the filing box. When the user gets into the filing box, instead of asking input the IDEM, password, and OTP, so we apply the X1280 for that. Yeah, so by applying that, we federated all the ID as a one, and then we enhanced it 2 times more stronger than the typical authentication. So, and then inside of the auto password, there is an AI feature. What the AI feature is, if the user the connected with the same network environment, in case it just the code is comes up, but if the user using another PC, and if the user connected to the suspicious network environment, as you can see that it presents 3 code and then ask the user confirm that. Are you sure that you have to choose the correct code instead of just blindly confirm that? So whenever the request authentication request comes in, internally it evaluates the authentication risk. If it looks suspicious or dangerous, it leverages the authentication the difficulty. So that's the one you saw just now. So with this understanding, so I hope you to try to secure your legacy system. Okay, so let me explain about the Passwordless Alliance. So after we provide the X1280, after we implemented the X1280, so this technology was invented in the dealers. So we provided, we sell this software product for the employee market only. But when it goes to the customer online service or G2C online services, we provide the free software. So it's the same technology. So, but to make sure that when we provide the free software, we use the passwordlessalliance.org, and the name of the product is the Passwordless X1280. So if you go to this website, you can check all the free software material. And the reason we set up this website is we believe it's not good to by asking user input the user password, and then we believe it's not good just to take all this once the account takeover or account compromising happen, all responsibility should not go to the user, and then like that it's not good to ask the user buying the expensive biometric sensor always. So some guys and some experts who believe that. Also, we set up the Passwordless Alliance together with the former ITUT director, and then we released the mobile app and server authentication application on the cloud, and then anyone can download the cloud, and then you can apply that software to your system. In there, you can see the integration API guide and UX guide, and all material is on the cloud. It's widely open. And then you can download the app, and then if you go to the GitHub, following your local environment, you can, there are 6 or 7 application, the end code for your target environment, ASP, PHP, or JSP, or the React.js, or the Python, like that. And then if you go to the Docker, this afternoon, you will run this server inside of your PC. And then by adding that the application, I hope you experience how much you can make your system secure. And then from time to time, we run the online class or offline class. And then after back to your home, so if you visit this website, you can see the video clip for the educational program as well. And then I believe that Brian will run this education program to you this afternoon. And then from time to time, we issue the training certificate. We issue the certificate only to the 20% of higher performance after the education. So if anyone wants to get this certificate, please actively engage this afternoon program, afternoon education, and then show your ability to us. If you meet that criteria, we're going to issue the certificate to you. Beside the ITU's, the participant certificate. And then we got after provided this educational program, we got the letter of appreciation from the Ecuador government. And then by eliminating the user password for worldwide, from time to time we invited as advanced forum in the WISHES. So WISHES is the World Summit of Information Society. So it's hosted by ITU and UN. So as advanced alliance, we run the one-day class in the Swiss Geneva to all the participants. And then we do some activity in Korea to get rid of, we wanted to change the Korean regulation. So instead of keep asking the input the meaningless password to the customer by applying the advanced standard in Korea, we wanted to get rid of the password. Especially if you get aged over 50 or 60 or 70, so it's harder to remember something. So I think it's a good technology, not only for the cybersecurity, for digital adaptness or the, I forgot the word, but anyway, so for the equation purpose, so I think it is good for the silver generations. And then, so if after this class, if anyone keep going on with this movement, you can, by adapting the software on your website, you can become the service member. Or if anyone in here running this educational course in your country by signing up as an educational member, we provide all the material to that member, and then you can run by yourself. In the case of Ecuador, after we deliver the educational package, the first time we educate them, and the second time with their language, they start to teach the second generation. And then we issue the certificate only to the higher performance. So we keep supporting them to stand up by themselves. And then the tech members, if anyone after they make a sample code or the couple language on the application server, you can donate the code on the GitHub together with us. And then anyone join as any government or any association can join this movement as a trust member. So the OAuth initiative, who they are is they are the standard organization who invented TOTP and challenge response OTP standard in the world. So even the OAuth 2, even the OAuth initiative participate in the Passwordless Alliance. Reason is they already know the OTP is vulnerable. Let's shortly listen why the OTP standard organization to join this alliance.
Hello, my name is Don Malloy, and I'm the chairman of the Oath Initiative. Today, I would like to briefly introduce our organization to you and explain why we're working with the Passwordless Alliance to help usher in the passwordless era. The Oath Initiative is the organization behind the development and the global adoption of the international OTP standards, the HOTP and the TOTP. These are currently used worldwide. Our OTP technology was a breakthrough in password security. By adding a 6-digit constantly changing code after entering a static password, we significantly reduced the risk of password-based attacks. This approach is used by virtually all major corporations: Google, Microsoft, Apple, Meta, and many others worldwide. However, OTP technology does have its limitations. While it securely authenticates the user, it assumes that the online service that the user is connecting to is legitimate. If a user knowingly visits a phishing site and enters their password and OTP, both can be stolen. This has been the root flaw of all traditional authentication systems. They are designed based upon the assumption that the server is trustworthy. But in reality, that is not always the case. To address this issue, in 2024, the ITUT, the International
As you can see that even the OTP standard organization realized the one-way user authentication can be fall into the cyber incident. So instead of using the one-way, he emphasized on the mutual authentication. That's the basic introduction of our alliance. And then let me emphasize on the little bit of the Passwordless X1280 free software, the key features. So as I mentioned that, the B2C or G2C online service is running as one server, running as one service. Just adding the authentication server, you can make your B2C or custom online service secure. And then this server does not require the super resources. It just asks you just one core and 1 GB RAM. With those simple tiny resources, you can cover 100 authentication per second. If your server needs to more than that, by adding the one core and 1 GB memory, you can cover the more transaction. And then for your online service servers, as I mentioned, that there are a variety kind of application sample code on the GitHub. By download the sample code and apply the code to your system, and then download the server, and then running on the Docker, and then download the sample code to your existing system, you can apply that system to your online services. And then this is one of we are under developed the plugin for the WordPress. So we're gonna publish it soon on the official WordPress website. If you are running the WordPress, just plug in the WordPress X1280 plugin in your WordPress. By doing so you can change the user password vulnerability on your WordPress website. It's exactly the same like I showed to you. After verify who you are, and then if you scan the QR code with your app, now you are ready to use passwordless on your WordPress website. I see. The remaining part is exactly the same, and then Brian will read you how to use it. And then this is written in Korean, but written as cybersecurity media. In Korea, even the cybersecurity media, they apply the passwordless. And then the #1 K-pop, the shopping mall, they apply the password. They provide the password together with the passwordless. It gives a chance to the user choose the more. It give a chance to the user. It's up to the user choice. Okay, so that's what I provide for the morning the theoretical session. So far, do you have any questions? I think I did very well. Okay, let's take some breaks, and then after the coffee break, so let me hand over mic to the Brian and Q. Okay, thank you.